I would have even come back in. They had a roll going. They played really well, and we was just going to ride the wave.
Is that cool with you as a player? A lot of times you start as a
No, that doesn't bother me at all. Because when you got somebody like that, I mean, Kelly was on fire. Hump played really well defensively and offensively. So why even come in and mess up the group? So you know, you might as well just let them stick it out and play hard. And, I thought they carried us down the stretch.
Celtics end 2013 on a low note. They lose 92-91. Last episode of the year, calendar year at least, Evans.
Calendar year.
Garter Report, Celtics blog, CLNS radio starts now. All right, Evans Clinchy from Celtics blog. I'm Jared Weiss. Another painful loss for the Celtics.
That was terrible.
Evans, before we went on the camera, Evans told me, get ready, it's going to be hell. So let's just go. Just tell me what you want to tell me. Freestyle this show.
What in the world were they doing? Like, the entire last quarter of the game, what the bloody heck was going on?
The last minute especially.
Especially the last minute. They had
Clear
no
out
offense.
to Jordan Crawford.
They had no offense. It was give Jordan Crawford the ball and don't even care if he even looks up for 5 seconds. The guy just stood there and dribble. 24 seconds go by, he shoots, and that's it. That's your entire offense? Really? Really?
Apparently so. I mean, that's what he said. Let's hear from Stevens.
Yeah, let's hear from Brad Stevens. Go
ahead. What he said about it after the game.
Just, I think it was pretty obvious that today the guys that were playing at the end were the guys that played well today. So, hard to take out a guy like Hump who's got 18 and 10 at that time, and Kelly who's got his best game as a pro going. So, you stick with him.
You've gone with a lot of different types of offenses for the end of games. Do you think you've kind of gotten a feel for what works for this team in the crunch time situation?
I think it's going to depend on sometimes who you're playing. And, hey, these other teams have good players. They have good athletes. They're out there trying to stop you. And so is there an exact answer to that? I don't have it. No, I'm continuing to search for it, and I think we need to all continue to search for it. But the biggest thing today, or the biggest thing is did we have our chances? Yeah, we had our chances. Did we do everything we can to take advantage of our chances? And I'd say, no. But some guys played really, really well. And so hopefully we can build off the guys that played well.
So no Soli, no Green, no nobody, basically. He goes with the hot hands. That goes cold at the end, so the solution seems to be Crawford isolation. But that obviously was a disaster.
That didn't make any sense, though. If you're going to go with the hot hand, then go with it.
Yeah.
The hot hands were Chris Humphries and Kelly Olynyk, and guess who didn't touch the ball at the last minute? Chris Humphries and Kelly Olynyk.
They were kind of collecting scraps, and they were making the most of it. But those guys aren't guys you can give the ball to try to score at the end of the game.
Brad Stevens can't have it both ways. If he's going to go with those guys down the stretch, he's got to actually use them. He's got to have an offense that utilizes their skills and helps them score. But when you take out Jeff Green, and you take out Brandon Bass, and you take out Jared Sullinger, and you have no way to score with those guys off the floor, you dug your own grave, and now you're sitting in it getting buried. I mean, if they're going to put those guys in, they need to utilize them and help them score, and they just didn't really do that. It didn't seem to make any sense, because if you're going to put in Olynyk and Gerald Wallace and Chris Humphries, then have them do something besides stand there and watch Jordan Crawford dribble, because it didn't work. And I don't know if it's on Stevens or if it's on Jordan Crawford or if it's on both of them, but somebody's to blame because that was terrible. That was a joke.
Well, so not the last play with 3 seconds left, but the play before that where they got another second chance. Give Olynyk and Humphries credit. They got those offensive rebounds on those loose balls.
They did.
But the play was you just put four wide, ISO for Crawford. There was no weak side action. There was no action besides just staring and watching him go one-on-one. Now, there's only about half a dozen players, maybe 10 players in the league that works with. Jordan Crawford is a guy that has the game that could be designed to do that.
No.
But if you look at the Clippers, I don't think the Clippers really even do that with Jamal Crawford, who's kind of the same player, but better, of course. Yeah.
I mean, the Celtics did it with Pierce last year, and it was a little bit excusable, but even that wasn't really
That
effective.
wasn't
Paul
even
Pierce
really
is a
good.
great player.
Yeah.
So with Jordan Crawford, are you kidding me? Are you kidding?
I'm kidding.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because, I'm sure Brad Stevens had some kind of play call in mind besides Jordan Crawford standing there dribbling. But Crawford is just not a smart enough player to execute it. I mean, he's got no court vision. He's not even trying to have court vision. Like, he stands there dribbling, looking at the floor, not even looking up. Like, how do you expect to execute a play in that
He
situation?
didn't really make a good move. You know, it was kind of, it
No.
failed, and then he would get a recovery shot, like a 3 or something.
Yeah,
like
I don't know if you're referring to the last play or the second to last or the third to last, but I agree no matter
It's
what
all
you're referring
pretty much the same
because they
thing.
were all terrible.
Yeah, and the biggest issue for me is they were down by 1 point.
Yep.
1 point.
Yep.
The best case scenario is going to the rim because you either get fouled, and
Yep.
then you get 2 chances to take the lead,
Yep.
or you just get a good shot off. But he takes 2 3-pointers that were completely unnecessary.
Yeah, and he's not a good three-point shooter.
Yeah.
Look at the numbers. He's not good.
We were watching him, or I was watching him at least warming up before the game, and he was bricking every single 3 that he took from the elbow. I mean, he couldn't hit an elbow 3, and he takes 2 elbow 3s to try to end the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a disaster.
It's awful.
And the funny thing is, you talk about the hot hands. He started 1 for 8. That was
He finished 3 for 15.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, he says that he went with the guys that were playing well, but Jeff Green shot a significantly better percentage than Crawford did in this game, and Green was watching from the bench for the last 18 minutes.
Well, he was standing next to the bench.
Sorry, yeah, he was standing next to the bench. That is accurate.
That was a weird one.
Yeah, I don't think he was happy. I don't think Bass was happy. Sullinger pretended to be happy. I don't think he was happy either.
Well, Green and Bass kind of went at it there, and Stevens kind of chalked it up to competitors being competitors.
Yeah,
That's the first time I've heard Jeff Green referred to as a competitor. But yeah.
Ouch. Low blow.
Before we finish this show or this video, Paul Millsap.
He's good.
He is very, very, very talented.
Yeah.
And he had a huge game, a clutch game for them, because clutch is Al Horford goes down for the season. They go into Boston, a team that they're fighting for at the top, or we're fighting for a top position with. The Celtics have fallen out of that position there.
Little bit.
But you know, it's a road game to end the calendar year, and Horford's gone. They need to make sure that they can stay afloat and continue to be a competitive team.
And they're down by 18 in the first half.
And Paul Millsap just goes ape leap in the second half.
And the first half too. I mean, all over the place. 34 and 15. 34 and 15. And 10 to 14 from the free throw line.
And like Budenholzer said after the game, they couldn't hit a shot except for Paul Millsap. They didn't
need to.
He could shoot from everywhere. He was getting to the line. He had 14 free throw attempts in this game.
Yeah.
Which did he make them all?
10
for 14.
10 for 14.
It's pretty good. But I mean, the fact is that a guy that gets to the line 10 plus times a game, that's a guy you can build your franchise around. And Horford's been that guy for them for a while, and he needs to be replaced by a similar player in Millsap, and Millsap was getting it done.
Yeah. The ironic thing about this game is that the one kind of player that Brandon Bass guards well is the guy who's not very quick, not very fast, but gets it done with his strength and his skill.
So guys like
Bass. Paul Millsap.
Yeah.
And Paul Millsap was sitting there just dominating the entire second half, and Brandon Bass was on the bench. Like, that's the one guy he can actually guard, and he's sitting there on the bench watching. I don't trust Chris Humphries to guard Millsap on the stretch. I don't trust Olynyk at all to guard anybody, pretty much.
Yeah, that's...
So, yeah, they had no answer to Millsap, obviously, and that killed them. But, I mean, really, this is on the offensive execution. I mean, the Celtics just couldn't get it done offensively, and that was what really beat them in this game, was just their own terrible offense.
All right, well, part 2 of the Garden Report, we're going to step off camera and do a memoriam to the year of 2013. We're going to take a look at all the highs and mostly the lows, of 2013.
Oh,
we'll be right back. This is the Garden Report on Celtics Blog and CLNS Radio.